Good evening and welcome to Ukraine Brief on TVP World with our latest news from Ukraine. I'm your host, Klaudia Czerwińska. Today marks the 1,300th day since Russia launched its full-scale invasion of Ukraine. We begin with another wave of Russian attacks on Ukraine over the past 24 hours, which have killed at least 5 civilians and wounded more than 4 dozen. According to the Ukrainian Air Force, the Russians launched 84 drones and 3 S-300 missiles overnight. Ukrainian forces intercepted 59 drones, while 25 drones and missiles struck 13 locations.
In the Donetsk region, 2 people were killed and more than 2 dozen were injured as Russian forces attacked various towns across the region. According to local sources, the Russians attacked more than 40 times over the past 24 hours. Most of the damage was reported in Kramatorsk, where around midnight Russian forces dropped 4 aerial FAB-250 bombs in the city center. 11 people were injured and 35 apartment buildings, educational institutions and other civilian buildings were damaged. In the Kharkiv region, due to Russian strikes, 2 people have been killed and more than 3 dozen injured over the past week, with significant damage concentrated in the Kupiansk, Izium and Kharkiv districts. In the neighboring Sumy region, at least 10 people were injured during crop harvesting following a missile strike on a wheat field, according to local authorities. In the Dnipropetrovsk region, a 63-year-old woman was injured, according to regional governor Serhiy Lysak, as Russian forces used artillery and FPV drones to attack. In the frontline regions of Zaporizhzhia and Kherson, 3 people were killed and 4 more injured, as Russia carried out hundreds of strikes on both regions, damaging houses and civilian infrastructure. In the Chernihiv region, Russian forces deliberately targeted firefighters extinguishing a fire at a critical infrastructure facility, injuring at least 4, according to Ukraine's State Emergency Service. The attack occurred on Monday morning in the Nizhyn district. It later emerged that Russian forces struck an oil depot in Nizhyn, Chernihiv region, using kamikaze drones. The depot was heavily damaged, causing a large fire that required over 20 firefighting units to control. This was one of the largest attacks in Nizhyn since the war began. Ukrainian drone strikes have continued to target Russian oil refineries, with a recent large-scale attack involving at least 300 drones hitting the Kirishi oil refinery in Russia's northwest. According to Reuters, today, the oil refinery has halted a key unit and repairs expected to take a month, as sources claim. Russian officials reported a brief fire at the vast Kirishi oil refinery on Sunday, but confirmed there were no injuries. The strike occurred on Sunday night, causing explosions and a fire at the facility, which produces around 80 petroleum products, including fuel for the Russian military. Ukrainian armed forces confirmed the attack as part of the campaign that has intensified in August and September, targeting Russia's energy infrastructure to weaken Moscow's war efforts. In total, 13 oil refineries have been attacked, some multiple times, with the combined processing capacity of the targeted facilities estimated at 114.5 million tons per year. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy stated in his Sunday address that the most effective sanctions against Russia are airstrikes on its oil refineries, terminals and depots, noting that Ukrainian drone strikes have already significantly impacted Russia's oil industry and reduced its ability to sustain the Kremlin's war effort.
The most effective sanctions, the sanctions that work the fastest, are the fires at Russian oil refineries, terminals and oil depots. They have significantly restricted the Russian oil industry, and this significantly restricts the war. The Russian war is in fact a function of oil, gas and all other Russian energy resources. I would like to thank the special forces of the Security Service of Ukraine, who have done a very good job in Primorsk in recent days, in Russia's largest oil terminal in the Baltic Sea. There is significant damage, everything has been verified, and this is noticeable to the enemy.
Ukraine's Brave One Defense Innovation Cluster has successfully completed its final phase of testing for a new class of kamikaze drones with a range of over 40 kilometers, according to today's announcement by Ukrainian Digital Transformation Minister Mikhailo Fedorov.
Designed to resist Russian electronic warfare systems, these drones are expected to undergo combat trials in the near future. Kamikaze drones with a 40-kilometer range and resistance to electronic warfare mark a significant advancement in our ability to strike enemy targets, Minister Mikhailo Fedorov said. Russia has increasingly relied on electronic warfare as a core defense strategy against Ukraine's drone operations, using jamming and spoofing tactics to disrupt guidance systems and prevent successful strikes.
And we end with the news that Ukraine's government has drafted a 2026 budget aiming for a deficit of 18.4% of GDP, Prime Minister Yulia Sviridenko announced today. The proposed budget outlines projected revenues of 2.8 trillion hryvnias, which is around $67 billion, and expenditures of about 4.8 trillion hryvnias. And so this would be all for now here at Ukraine Brief on TVP World. I'm Claudia Czerwińska. Thank you so much for joining, and please stay tuned here on TVP World for more.